So what is metaconsciousness? Can anyone harness that?
Well, yes, I think in the most historical way, it comes from meditation. It comes from the Zen Buddhist. It comes from the Tibetan Buddhist. It's the practice of observing your thoughts and watching your thoughts, scrutinizing your feelings, but not getting involved in the rumination of it all.
Mhm.
Because what I've found, and I'm going to tell you how I got there, what I have found, the more you do that, the more they fall apart. The more you realize that these very strong emotions or these very strong feelings or very strong thoughts we have are more like a conglomeration of our whole life events turning into a snowball rather than just dealing with what's happening now. And so meta consciousness, when we can practice it, really gives us the ability to know ourselves. And I will say this, most of us don't know ourselves, disabled or not. Most of us are so strapped into these systems that we feel like we have to support and be part of and subscribe to. We go through life missing it, and we look for resources to overcome disabilities or grief or tragedy or loss. And we're taught to look outwards. We're not taught to let that quiet voice arise within ourselves. That, in my experience, really is the most powerful and the most pure directive we can receive. And when you're ready, I'll really tell you how I found mine.
Okay, I'm ready right now.
All right. So I was a salesman. I went to a college for learning disabled students. I am special ed. Special ed was my whole educational experience. And I finished and I got a job. I got a job knocking on doors in New York, leasing real estate. And I didn't like it, but I was very good at it. But I knew I
That'll
wanted
toughen you
more.
up.
It did toughen me up. It was an incredible experience. I made a lot of money as a kid. I wore beautiful suits. I drove a great car. And everyone who knew me said, "See, you found your way. Just waiting for you. I always knew it. Always knew you could do it." And I got awards. But it's like I felt like there was all this unfinished business. And I was like, hell, I'm succeeding at this. I can go back to school and do it again. Right. So I decided I was going to do school 2.0, right? After I heard Zig Ziglar tell me those magic words, right? And I managed to talk myself into graduate school. My SAT scores were in the bottom 10th, 15th percentile. Can't go lower. That's what you get for signing your name and answering a couple questions right, right? But
Hmm.
I was convinced in my heart of hearts that I could do it this time. And I still wanted to be a lawyer, but I couldn't take the LSATs. I couldn't even listen to somebody talk for 10 minutes, right? One thing that helped me extraordinarily as a child was music, because music gets you right to your metaconsciousness. Music awakens something deep within us that's very, very hard to find anywhere else, right?
Yep.
And the thing that taught me how to play and read music was the metronome. What wasn't someone standing over my shoulder correcting me and pointing me. It was the metronome. It was that beat. It was that consistent click. So I had this crazy idea that I was going to live to the metronome for 3.5 hours a day. And I did this for 6 months. I got up every morning and I breathed to the metronome for an hour. And then I walked to the metronome for an hour. And then I read to the metronome for an hour. And then I wrote to the metronome.